Now I'd like to turn to Bill Neale MMR for some track planning.
All right,
Bill?
can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, let's do a share screen here. I'm going to share this application. We're going to have a short conversation tonight. I'm going to talk about designing the Eagle River lines, and I think it might be kind of fun. Let's see here. Can you guys see that all right?
Yes.
Okay, good. This layout was designed by me and was actually built by several friends and myself for a gentleman who had been out of model railroading for a number of years. And I was at an NMRA convention. By the way, this is a great reason to be part of the NMRA. And I was approached after I gave a clinic by the gentleman and his wife. And they said, do you know anyone that can help us build a model railroad? It turned out that he had, when he was a teenager, was fascinated by the hobby, but dropped it to do a number of other things, such as be a physician and have a very successful life. And now he's retired and wanted to build a railroad, but he had no skills really that he built up. So we jumped in and helped him, and it worked out pretty good. Now I'm going to show you kind of where we're going. When we talked to this gentleman, his name was Ed. Several things he wanted. This is not an operations type railroad. It was continuous run. It had to be reliable. He had a small 4x8 that he had prefabricated track on, 18-inch radius, and he was having trouble getting the big boy around it, an 85-foot passenger car. So you can picture that a little bit. But he also wanted a reverse loop, and he wanted a mirror used like John Allen to kind of make tracks look like they're longer. He wanted to have a tunnel and a bridge, and he had a bunch of structures already on hand, and he wanted us to use those in a model railroad. So I worked with him on a design, and he had a nice sized basement, but he was going to put together 3 4x8 tables like this and build a model railroad on it. And I said, wait a minute, that's really not a very good approach, because really what you're looking at is you've got to have this area around this large railroad anyway. Roughly, 18, 16 by 14 or so. I said, why don't we just reverse this, put the railroad around the outside and put the people area on the inside? He thought that was an interesting idea. Because once you do that, then you can have pretty broad radius curves. And we talked to him about how to build this thing, and he said he didn't have any tools. So a couple of us constructed 2x6 modules in one of the fellow's garages. It was done last summer, and we brought these into his basement, put legs on them, and bolted them together, and it worked out pretty good. You can see we actually built a lift bridge area in right here, and that was a lot of fun. He was very excited about that. In fact, this is a plan of what we did. You can see that it's actually a double track. We actually cut a corner off here to make it more interesting. It's a double track oval right in here with about maybe 20%, this upper right-hand corner covered with a tunnel. We have a series of crossovers down here, a turntable, a roundhouse, and a branch line that comes up and climbs a hill right through here. It actually wound up being about a 2% grade. I thought at first it was going to be 2.5, but we were able to ease it a little bit. Crosses over the top of the main line and then has reverse loop out here. And we put in sort of a flying bridge across here between the modules to carry the reverse loop back. We also negotiated for a little bit of a yard down here. You can't quite see it. There's another 4 feet of the plan that you can't quite see. And there are a few industrial sidings. These are mostly just for show, but he liked the whole approach. It has a nice city scene. We have a nice river over here. The picture of the Jeep going across the bridge was taken right at this location right here. And here's the lift bridge right here. So this was the plan we started working with. You can see it's version 5.0. In other words, there were 4 unsuccessful versions before this. Don't be afraid to revise the design decisions. And this is what it looks like. Now, it took us from last summer to about January of this year to do this work. It was done in 6 months. You can see this got a nice backdrop painted back here. A gentleman by the name of Norm Logan, who is in the Detroit area, does backdrop painting for a number of us model railroaders, and he did a spectacular job there. Here you can see the lift bridge right here. It's got a handle on it, just lifts straight up. There are interlocks on both sides to prevent trains from rolling out there. You can see he's got a nice bridge here, and he's got a little over and under action over here, and a city scene as well here. We used a Barrett Hill turnout controls. So he has a panel on the outside and a panel that runs the same switches on the inside. The Barrett Hill system is real easy to work with on that. We stained the outside of the railroad with a barnwood color. You can see kind of how that works. It kind of fits in with the color he used on the rest of the room. This is a city scene right here. You can see how it looks. We actually wired in street lights. All the buildings are lit. This is a coal mine. This was a BTS model. I just couldn't stand the look at the BTS model. It had a blue, solid blue paint job, and I thought, boy, that's terrible. So this was kit bashed a little bit, and I mean, we cut down this big box structure over the top of the track, and this was a coal mine for him. Here's a scene of the railroad. It has a 36-inch radius minimum curve on the main line. The curves are all nicely eased, and these are Pico number 8s through here on the crossover. They work absolutely reliably. I wasn't a big believer in Pico for a while, but boy, with this Code 83 stuff, they have really knocked it out of the park. Really good stuff to use. And here's the reverse loop that he wanted so badly. There's the coal mine. You can see the reverse loop swinging through here and how the railroad swings out across this little bridge area here. That was kind of added in after the modules were put in place. We allowed an access hole here so he could work on the town here. He did a lot of the buildings, and we just installed them and built the roads for him. This is a picture of the Barrett Hill system. This is really a neat system to use. I recommend it highly. This was a PowerPoint drawing. I just left white spaces for the switch controls. And behind this, you press in the controls, which are capacitance activated. In other words, you just run your finger over the top of the white area here, and it will change the switch. You mount this in a picture frame with a glass on the front, and you're done. The control panel's done. It's all a plug and play type thing, and it works really very well. And that's all I really got. Like I say, this was finished in 6 months. And the guy has a railroad that he's absolutely in love with, and it was a lot of fun. Came out through the NMRA action, so it was really a good thing for him. Any questions?
I got one.
Yeah.
Have you got any tips for that lift out bridge?
Well, yes, let me go back to that. Let me roll back a bit here. Pardon me. There we go. It is 3/4 inch furniture grade plywood. It is it has steel angle iron on both sides to keep it rigid and keep it flat, and it has a good hinging system on either side. You can't see it here, but it's a little knob, a scenic knob that the bridge, when it rises, rests against. And yes, you do have some problems with expansion and contraction. But HO anyway, this is HO scale railroad. HO will bridge a pretty sizable gap if you have to. But we found that once the plywood settled down and stopped contracting, which is really where your problems come from, we had no further problems with it. It works great.
Thank you.
Sure. My segment tonight's pretty short, shorter than last time around. So,
Bill.
Yeah.
So now those drawer sets that he has there, those roll out, or are they sitting on legs, or what?
Those roll out.
So they're not attached to the railroad in any way.
No, the railroad's all freestanding with these 2x2 legs.
What about where the pillar is? Is it attached to that?
It is attached to the pillar. Yes. We wrapped it around there and put an L bracket in there to hold it to the pillar. It just
So
makes
it's pretty
sturdier.
stable then.
Yeah, it's very stable.
How
Well,
high
thanks
off
so
the
much.
floor? How high off the floor is it?
I think Ed and Vicky are both shorter than I am, and I'm absolutely average height. I'm 5'9", and they're about 5'7", maybe. So they liked it a little lower than I like mine, but I think he ended up at 42 inches off the floor for track height.
Thanks.
So easy reach for him and all that kind of good stuff. So, by the way, the backdrop has scenes from Detroit. There's a lot of buildings back here that are from Detroit. Since we're in the Detroit area, I mean, somewhere back here to the left, the Ambassador Bridge actually shows up in the backdrop. So,
It's a beautiful layout. Congratulations.
oh, thank you. Well, this is Ed and Vicky's layout. So we had a great time making this layout, and it was a lot of fun. We only worked, I think we worked 3 days a week, 6 hours a day doing this. There were 2 of us that really put this together for the most part, plus the artist that did the backdrop. And 6 months. There's no reason why people can't have a layout like this in a year, just working by themselves. It's absolutely easy and fun to do. And this is a completed layout. You can see there's lighting on all the structures. There's lighting on the roads, the street lights, light, the turntable works. I mean, it's 100%.
Great work.
Thank you.
All right, so Jeff,